The older generation failed us, but I've promised myself I am not going to fail the younger generation. I am not going to fail them. I'm not going to repeat the same mistakes that the older generation did. I'm not going to repeat the same script that they played. I'm not going to repeat what they did. What they did is absolutely unfair. No child or should I say, no younger generation deserves to suffer in that way. Now, people will ask me, how do you mean that when you say, what do you mean when you say that the older generation failed us? And now the thing is, when these people were younger, they had people that told them, you have to do things in a certain way. When these people were younger, they had values, they had culture, they had morals instilled in them. But they failed to transfer the same values, the same morals, the same culture that made them who they are to the younger generation. They failed to transfer the same work culture. They failed to transfer the same discipline. They failed to transfer the same resilience into the younger generation. They failed to tell us one important thing, which is the story of how they got to where they are from where they started. I like to make reference to my dad, and I used to appreciate that man so much because what he has done in my life, most parents have failed to do it for their kids. You see, my dad would always take us to the village where he started. He would always show us how he started. He always show us at least we grew up to see the house that they lived before. We grew up to see the house that they struggled in, how they grew up as their family, how they were able to build their family. He told us that story consistently. Now, he made it a conscious effort to keep telling us, to keep reminding us of who we are. He made it a conscious effort to keep reminding us of where they started from and why we should do better than they did. Most parents in our generation, most parents in the older generation failed to tell their kids what it took for them to get to where they are. And this is causing a problem to the society. Most parents in the older generation fail to tell their kids the discipline, the hard work, and what it took for them to leave the level that they were to where they are right now. They don't tell them about their struggles. They don't tell them about how they made money. They don't tell them about how they saved money. They don't tell them about how they met their wife. They don't tell them about how they managed the family. They don't tell them about so many things. The older generation failed us. You see, most of what some kids or some of the newer generation see is simply they see their successes and they fail to tell them their woes. They fail to tell them their failures. They fail to tell them the processes that led to those successes. And which is why I keep saying the older generation failed us. They got into power. They got into power. They struggled through primary schools and they trade kilometers to go to schools. And yet they don't tell the newer generation what it actually took to get their level of education. They don't tell them the resilience. And this is telling negatively on the society. This is working against the newer generation. They don't tell them that most of the things that you need right now, if you give it time, that things will work out. They don't tell them that, oh, yeah, look this. When we were younger, we used to trek this certain kilometers to school. When we were younger, we used to go 001. We used to go hungry in the morning, eat in the afternoon, and don't see anything to eat at night before we sleep. They simply tell them, oh, you're supposed to live fine. I mean, I got so mad at the pastor that said, oh, marriage is not where you are supposed to endure. It's where you're supposed to go and enjoy. And then this same pastor behind the scene, one day we had a deep conversation and he told me when he met his wife, he had nothing and they used to struggle. When he met his wife, it was nothing. It was nothing to write home about. They struggled. They had to do manual labor. They had to labor and do so many things to succeed. And then I asked him, sir, but you preach that marriage is not supposed to be endured. It is supposed to be enjoyed. You see how these people have strategically punished the younger generation by sending in a mindset that is wrong, by sending in the message that is wrong, by sending in the wrong narrative. And what does the younger generation do? They simply just take it. They take it hook, line, and sinker without even questioning. So they believe that life is supposed to be so fair. They They've simply just seen the glamour and not the work. The older generation failed us. Honestly, if you ask me, I would say the older generation, they no try. These guys betrayed us. I mean, their parents taught them the value of hard work, but what did they transfer to the kids? What did they transfer to the junior ones, to the younger generation? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They simply just come up and all of a sudden, most of them became wicked motivational speakers, passing down the wrong narrative, passing down the wrong messages, and motivating people the wrong way, leading them to doom instead of to success. You see, the older generation are simply wicked. They got value, they got culture, they got society, they got community from their parents. They were raised in communities, and what do? These days, they put fences around compounds, raise kids to believe that, oh, you don't have to talk to the next person because the next person is going to hurt you. So the community keeps decaying every single day. They don't teach kids how to cooperate with others. They don't teach kids how to delay their gratification. I mean, sometimes you see kids say, Dad, I want sweet, and the dad is the one begging him, no, please don't want sweet at this time. Holy Christ. How did we even get to this point? How did we get to the point where kids are now deciding for parents? How did we get to the point where parenting has gotten so bad that now kids run the home? Basically, it's all about what the child wants and not about what the parents should tell the child. You see, we are not telling ourselves the truth. And the moment we keep living like this, the moment we realize that we've gone so far, we've decayed the society so much, that's when we'll start seeing improvement. But if we don't, I'm sorry, the younger generation will suffer. And yeah, the older generation failed us. I mean, these guys didn't tell us the truth. They absolutely didn't tell us the truth. They betrayed us. What they got was rights for humans. What they got was just the right principle. What they got was just the right strategy. What they got community, they got family, they got love, they got everything. And what did they leave for the younger generation? Absolutely nothing but decay. You see, most of us will suffer. Honestly, most of us will suffer. And our suffering will come from God directly. Yeah. Our suffering will come from God directly. Most of the older generation that have failed to transfer what they got to the newer generation, God will definitely ask them. I mean, even if you don't believe in God, man, but whatsoever you believe in will judge you because you are doing the society more harm than good. The older generation failed us. But are we supposed to dwell in their failure? Are we supposed to dwell in where they pushed us to? Now we are awake. Now we've been awakened to the obvious truth that these guys didn't care about us. That when they made their honest living, they didn't care to tell us. They didn't care to instill the same discipline that got them to where they are. They didn't care. They failed us. Most of them got into political positions, and what did they do? They stole money. They ruined the same public schools that raised them. They messed up everything. Yes, they failed us. The older generation failed us. When they were going to school, they had lunch as a part of what they enjoyed in schools. When they were going to schools, they had stipends to maybe facilitate their academics or whatsoever. But what did they do when they got into office? What did they do when they finally got into the position where they were supposed to reciprocate this to the younger generation? They looted government treasury. They ruined the system. They allowed the public schools to go into ruins. They simply just didn't care. The older generation failed us. But are we supposed to dwell there? You see, it's one thing for you to be thrown to the wolves. And it's another thing for you to pick up yourself and tell yourself, no, I'm not going to wait and be eaten by the wolves. I'm going to lead the pack. Younger generation, this is a wake-up call to you. Now you know that the older generation failed us. Now you know that the older generation didn't transfer exactly what they received to us. Now you know they lied to us about certain things. Now you know they betrayed us in certain ways. They didn't give us community. They didn't give us social life. They didn't give us family. Most of them live carelessly. And then who is suffering? The younger generation. We are supposed to learn from them. They got the good values, the good everything from their parents, from the generation before them. But did they pass it down? No. They failed in that aspect. Should we lean or rely on this? Should we look down on ourselves? Should we allow ourselves to fall into depression because you have an excuse already to say, oh, the elder generation did this. But now it's your turn. And I'm asking you, what exactly are you going to do to change the narrative? Will you also fail your generation? That's the question you should ask yourself. If the older generation failed us, will you also fail your generation? Will you also fail the younger generation after you? Will I fail my kids? My dad is my role model. I'll keep saying it. I've learned a lot from him. He lived as a classroom teacher. He worked and retired as a classroom teacher. He's still alive in his 70s. But one thing I'll always respect that man for is the fact that he told us the truth. And he also showed me his friend that was working with the government, looted government treasury, bought cars, bought lands, bought houses for himself. But he's not happy with all the things he has gotten. He has failed his generation. He doesn't even have a happy family. He's always living in fear that one person is going to. So he's consistently having to pay bribes, look for fake prophets, look for fake prophecies, and things that will make him feel good about himself because he knows he's not doing the right thing. And just recently, I heard he died miserably. He just slumped and died. To what end? What's the point? He got everything, but still didn't leave a legacy. And I'm wondering, now that you have the opportunity, now that you're here, please don't fail the generation after you. Please note that even if the older generation failed us, we should take it as our responsibility not to fail the generation that will come from us or the generation that will come after us. My name is Ukobo and I am your brother in the struggle. I call myself the rich son of a classroom teacher. This is one truth at a time. And this is me telling you that even if they failed you, you don't have to fail others. That line should be broken. If we break the chain, then the chain effects can't continue. If we take off one part of it, then we've discontinued it. Let us consciously do things that will discontinue this wicked trend. Let us be useful to the society. Let us transfer values to the younger generation. Let us consciously decide that, okay, fine, you guys decided to cheat us. You decided we were not going to get all what you got, but we are going to be the generation that will make things different. Until I see you in the next video, my name is Ukobo Akpan. I call myself the rich son of a classroom teacher, and I like to call myself the small business doctor. Honestly, I can call myself the mentality doctor, because I try to give surgical approaches to our surgical advices or surgical. I'm not an authority in English, so I try to give surgical dissections that can help you re-engineer your mindset and help you live the kind of life that God wants you to live. Until I see you in my next video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notification so that you'll be the first to see when I post a video like this. And until I see you then, God bless you. Bye-bye.